Welcome once again to HeroQuest fans. I am Morcar, or possibly Zargon. This is our unboxing of the HeroQuest 2021 remake. And I have
Hey guys, what's up? It's Mentor, your old pal Mentor. Yeah, this guy right here was like, I got a whole new thing. I'm gonna kill your heroes, and I'm like, didn't work last time. So yeah, I'm here to see all the new stuff. Heroes are gonna kick his butt. He's got all up and down the Dread Warriors.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, y'all are crazy. Yeah, so we got Mentor here, Zargon, Morcar, whatever. We're going to have a good time. We're going to open this up. I know everyone has seen everything in the box, so there's no surprises at all. You don't care about spoilers, but we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah. Watch this. It's going to be great.
All right, so we got our Twitch view here. And we've got our big box and a big knife. Cut it open. So what happened was we were supposed to have to sign for it when FedEx delivered it, but there was no sign. They didn't ring the doorbell. They didn't knock. All I got was an email saying it's been delivered. So I wandered around my apartment complex and then I found the box on the stairs, halfway up the stairs next to the trash can. So I mean, I'm glad I got it, but that was not very good customer experience.
It's a good thing that most people in the area probably wouldn't be like, HeroQuest Mythic, Avalon. I mean, they had no idea what that is.
Yeah, Forge Pirate.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, a box, let's steal that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did they at least get it inside, or was it
No,
just sitting outside?
Kind of halfway up the stairs.
Okay.
Because we put signs up on all the other side doors saying, this is not the mail drop. This is not the mail drop. And so they just took the one door.
In all fairness, was there one that actually said this is the mail drop, though? Because, I mean,
no,
you're just telling everyone
I think we need to do that next. All right. Okay. So this is the first unbox. Well, it's actually the second unboxing. I did a video of the 1990 HeroQuest, but of course the box is already open. All right, so there's another box inside.
They say 1990. That would have been when my heroes took out your boys the first time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's too soon.
Just wanted to make sure. Too soon.
Yeah. There's gonna be plenty of ways to kill them again this time, I imagine.
Just to say that, but I've got even more heroes this time, from what I understand. Again, I haven't been following this as much, honestly, because I don't know. I just assume everything's going to go the way it should be. I'd be like, what kind of Mentor is that? The best kind.
Yeah, Gandalf to my Saruman. All right, and there's another box. It'd be funny if this was just all cardboard. All the way through.
Yeah, those Russian dolls.
Yeah. Well, you know, the people in Brazil, they didn't get plastic minis. They had to actually make it out of cardboard. I mean, the stuff were like little foldable standees. Oh,
there you go.
There it is. So I'll have to reassemble all this.
Yeah.
Side. And then usually this is where the video ends. They're just like, okay, I'm going to sell this on eBay, and that's the end. We're gonna.
I will say the box is a lot different than before. Art's a little different.
Yeah. It almost looks like they. Yeah, it's like they painted over it, and then they just kind of printed it out.
Yeah, because you got the original down at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and then everything's just kind of a.
Yeah, now I've seen all this on other people's videos, but they say that these little plastic things, you got to cut those because people have ripped their boxes.
Oh, okay.
On every corner. So this is the Mythic tier. This was $150 and like $30 for shipping. People in Europe haven't gotten theirs yet, but some people have actually mailed them out. So hopefully they're not at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, I assume there's some other. I was going to say, if it's Mythic tier, hopefully they're throwing a few other things in there. All right.
A couple other things. Well, and my thought with all this was we were just going to keep our boxes sealed until one person opened it, and then that person was going to tell everybody if it was worthwhile, showing what was in it. But as it turns out, a couple people beat us to it, so we didn't have to do that.
So, all right. So yeah, all sorts of things there, but it seems,
Pretty similar.
yeah,
We have to get this big, huge box out of the way so that we can
yeah.
start.
Get some more space there. That pretty empty at this point. Just additional cardboard. Save the environment and all.
Yep.
All right.
Made in China. All right. So, just kind of throw those down there. Yeah, so the box is definitely taller. Here.
I feel like it's not quite as the dimensions are definitely different. It's way thicker than the old one. Might not be quite as long.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a modern game box.
Yeah.
Because the board is a quad fold instead of a bifold.
Okay.
So.
Now I can't help but notice that on this they just reused that main graphic, and you know,
we're gonna see more of that.
Yeah.
So we got the these boxes are very similar in size, but I noticed they made them uniform. It's not purple and red; they're both black.
Yeah.
The Return of the Witch Lord and Keller's Keep. So everybody's seen this, but one thing that they did change right here. So remember the Empire, the Warhammer Fantasy World. It was always the Empire and Britannia and the Emperor and all that. Well, now it's the Realm. It's the King. So the King is trapped. The Forbidden Recess.
Ah.
So we got demoted. Oh well.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah.
Copyright laws.
Yeah, they didn't have the Games Workshop blessing, so
Mm-hmm.
Hasbro just in Avalon Hill had to.
It's been a really long time since I've seen the Avalon Hill logo. They changed that pretty significantly.
Oh, yeah. What was that game they made? Was it like The Haunting of Hill House? Or
Oh, they made a lot. Plus, I mean, they did a lot of. They used to do a ton of historical battle games.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah, because
that was kind of their
war games.
big thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
for a long time.
that's what I'd heard. I don't remember ever playing any of their games. So
I know I played a few. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head a single one, but again, I'm not.
historical
That's-
games or like fantasy games?
I feel like it was mostly historical, but there were certainly a few otherwise. We still have the Big Knife, obviously.
Yeah. So what do you think we should go for first?
I mean, I would say kind of the main game would be. I mean,
Okay.
that's what, because the others are expansions. The others are plus whatever's in the
Yeah. So the heroic
mythic
tier people.
contents.
Yeah, the heroic tier people only got this big box.
Okay.
Maybe we'll just set this on a chair over here.
Yeah. Killed the masses and all.
Yep. So we actually did. I did photocopy and print out the European rule book, so we can kind of compare. Because I did a reading. I actually read out the whole North American rule book on this Twitch channel. It was pretty non-epic, but just so I could get it out there and kind of get it fresh in my mind of what the game was like before the changes. Okay, so I think we'll just kind of do it like, get it right side up. Actually, we can just,
Don't need to do the plastic first anyway.
yeah. There we go. Can I use a smaller knife?
Yeah.
A knife is, it's like golf. You gotta have the right
For
club.
those of you who aren't dizzy, spinning the box around a whole bunch.
Spin the box. All right, let's move this thing over. Get your parents' permission before you start swinging a knife around. It says age 14, but supposedly that's just because it's got pointy pieces of plastic.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how OSHA just assumes,
Paper
if
cut.
you're working in a kitchen or something, and you have someone who's under the age of 14 or 18 around an oven, the first thing you're going to do is try to climb into it while it's on.
Yeah. So, all right.
Nice, and you just down and a little shimmy it off there.
This is the part where the confetti and glitter and stink bombs go off because don't be a porch fire. Some people have said their stuff arrived broken, but I haven't seen any breaks yet. I guess we'll find out if they.
With all the extra cardboard in there, I'll be surprised.
No instructions. How do I assemble it? I don't know. Actually, it comes pre-assembled this time. So we get the artwork once again. A little bit of crap on there, but came off easily. Oh, these are the
It's
mixes.
actually, slides out there.
And there they are.
Okay.
Okay, so now we've done what every unboxing video has done, which is to show miniatures. So while you're
Definitely have changed the designs a bit.
yeah, kind of a World of Warcraft kind of vibe to a lot of those.
A little bit. I mean, the portions aren't quite as weird, but
All right. Should we start with the heroes?
I mean, I think that's obviously the place.
I always
You
start
wanna
with the
start?
heroes. You know, they're always on my mind. How to kill them.
Now we've got to have a second set though, because I'm only seeing 4, and I know we've included some new ones this time. But
So let's see. We've got the barbarian. I can say that it's kind of hard to pull these out. This feels like kind of smooth.
you can pop them out from underneath.
All right. So everyone has said that this feels like the plastic from Descent.
The scale is different this time. Looks like the scale on these, I'd say probably bigger than 28 millimeter at a glance.
Well, I think they claim it is 28.
Is it? The
Why?
original probably more 25. I mean, you can just look if you look at the old next to the new, which.
We're about to do, yeah. Switching cameras on the fly here.
And there's definitely a lot more detail on the miniatures, but again, that just
So
3D printing and some of the new casting
you can tell that,
methods out there.
yeah, it's definitely rubbery. So look at that. It feels like kind of like Reaper Bones Black, maybe, but yeah, it's definitely glued. You can see where the arm is glued right there.
Okay.
You want to give it a
Sure.
manhandle it a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
Or rubberized, rubbery
Mm-hmm.
plastic.
You can see on the bottom there are some swirls there. I assume that's probably from. Now, are these supposed to be print? If they're glued, they're not 3D printed.
No, I think they're. I'm thinking they're injection molding
Okay.
or whatever. I'm not a super expert on that sort of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, you can see the bases are hollow. And the bases are round now, of course, as everyone knows. The originals were. There we go.
Why don't we pull out the original just right next to it and then that
Okay,
way?
so that's what the original barbarian would have looked like there. And if we compare the
They're
two,
definitely going for a similar. I mean, he's got a similar, not identical, but similar pose. And then obviously the new guy's got some extra accoutrement on there just in case, Howard's. Though I think again, barbarian is kind of
right side up.
it's enough of a ubiquitous term now that
Yeah.
Howard's estate can't necessarily get too litigious.
The non-Roman, non-Greek warrior.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. This like rock thing that he's standing on. I mean, it kind of looks cool, but it kind of breaks the whole like I'm just standing on a base motif and going with the other.
Yeah.
But
Let's keep going on some of the others
yeah,
too,
yeah.
and then that way we can.
admiring the
Oh sure.
muscularity. Okay, so the classic heroes, we've got the wizard, the dwarf, and the elf. Let's rotate this camera, actually. Okay, right side up. There we go. Okay, so we got those. Wizard, elf. Those are the classics, and then we'll compare them to the new counterparts. So you got the dwarf here.
I got an upgrade on his axe.
Yeah, it's definitely a big axe. That's like the golden axe. Right
Yeah.
bendy. This
I
guy.
suppose on the one hand, though, that is kind of nice. Makes it a little harder to. It's flexible. It's a little harder to break in theory.
I thought he had a helmet on. Oh, I'm thinking of the classic one.
Yeah.
Just didn't notice that he didn't really have a helmet. Okay.
Doesn't have time for a helmet. Plus his head's hardened. So.
Yeah. Other than Damascus steel, and they say that it's like Reaper. You can just dip them in boiling water. So there's the elf. So the elf is completely different.
Yeah.
Female this time, and she's got the boot plate, and she's got armor, the cape, whereas the classic elf is just kind of chilling. I guess this elf design is like a wood elf from Warhammer Fantasy Battle.
Looks like it at a glance.
Yeah, but I mean that's what we grew up with. That was the elf, not Santa's elves.
Oh no.
So I mean she looks cool, but yeah, she's definitely a different character. Right. We can go a little quicker with those.
Sure.
Wizard.
He's definitely again in this kind of a similar pose, but definitely got some upgrades there.
Yeah, he's got the crescent moon, the staff there, a little more relaxed pose. And the wizard is your weakest character, but he does have the magic.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's kind of a stiff plastic. It makes me think of the Bones Black figures. I mean, they're kind of here. Why don't you?
Yeah, you mentioned that. I mean, and it's
not super rubbery. Like
well, and that's the thing. It
Amazon
is
toys.
stiff, but it's definitely flexible.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yep.
You know, again, it'll help with assuming it doesn't get brittle over time, then
It'll bounce.
yeah, it'll help keep it from, especially with some of the small edges and things, from maybe breaking as easily.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. Yeah, the miniatures are kind of the thing that everybody's interested in, so we're spending a little bit more time on those.
Well, I mean, it's the visual thing. The board's flat. The board, it's
Yeah.
every
HeroQuest was
every
about
mission is always going to have the same board with just different doors, different stuff. But the board itself doesn't change. So the miniatures and where they're placed is.
and I feel like Stephen Baker, I mean, he had this grand idea, this big dream, but Milton Bradley actually got him to fulfill it more than he originally imagined because they kept having him simplify it, make it smaller, make it simpler. And so pretty soon you have this board game where you're rolling dice, you're drawing cards. You don't have to really map anything out. There's not a lot of complex stuff. I mean, it's complex for 5. So these are what the original undead characters look like, and they're pretty white, so you don't see a lot of detail. But I always thought they were cool. And now if we compare them to the new ones, so we've got something like that. So the zombie, the mummy, and the skeleton. So these are the zombies. There.
It's a pretty.
Just kind of looks like a warrior, except he's like, oh, I'm dead.
Yeah.
My head's twisted to the side.
Yeah, kind of at a weird angle there, but again, he's got himself. Looks a little bit less like an Iron Maiden cover.
The Crypt Keeper,
Mhm.
Tales from the Crypt. I like the old one. That's my thought. I like the Cleaver. Maybe they just wanted more of a traditional zombie.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it. Plus, let's face it. Since then, there have been a lot of zombie fiction, a lot of other things
Yep, zombie race.
come into. So, I mean, it kind of makes
Expectations.
sense that they would want to make a few changes there.
Yeah, but it's not bad.
No, not bad at all.
And it feels very stiff. And we've got the mummy. What head is the mummy? He's reaching out with his hand. Some more dynamic. I don't know. When I first saw when they did the Kickstarter or the fundraiser, they had these 3D renderings, and they were just like super dynamic. Whereas this seems a little more restrained.
Well, and that's the difference though between a
Yeah.
rendering. It's like cars. Whenever you see concept car, there's all sorts of weird, crazy stuff, and If the very, very rare case it actually makes it to production, some of the fancier bits usually get left off for practical reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, the mummy is a little bit thinner, but I don't know, the pose is kind of cool. I mean, he's reaching out. He's going to reach out and touch someone.
Yeah, the other one looks like he's just kind of shambling.
Yep.
The old one.
Yeah. And then here we've got the skeleton. I didn't like the skeleton when I first saw this image. I mean, he's got armor on, which I guess armored skeletons are always cool, but
Well, they're cool, but I mean,
the classic
what's it
skeleton.
really?
Just
What's it really protecting? I mean, it's bones. It's
yeah, he doesn't have any vital organs.
yeah. Now, one thing, so like I can understand the scythe in the original because it's a scythe, which you get.
It's like the Grim Reaper. You just
Yeah,
take the robe off.
but I mean, what possible use does this giant? That's just not a blade you're gonna find on a farmer's, and it's pretty too unwieldy for
It's like a fantasy scene.
some weapon designer to make.
Yeah. Maybe they thought the old skeleton was too generic, but
It could be. It's got a little bit more character to it.
yeah, it's got the long handle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's serviceable.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's an interesting design, and so long as it,
Mhm.
can be marched around the board.
Yeah. See, what they could do is they could release monster packs. I think Covert Nerd on his podcast said, well, why don't they just release some monster packs in the future? And, you could have different designs. People want to buy them.
Well, yeah, they can certainly do that. Plus, you've got it's just a matter of making it cost effective, I suppose. Though, again, with 3D printers print on demand, you wouldn't necessarily, I mean, if you set it up right in the first place, then you wouldn't even need to do the injection molding. The cost would be a little bit higher, but
Yeah.
again, you wouldn't have molds. You just
Yeah. I didn't bring any classic orcs to compare, but the classic orcs, they had that big, they would grin from ear to ear, and they had the big tusks, and they were just holding the sword up. Not a lot of dynamism, but
now are those both orcs, or is it?
Yeah.
So there's just two different orc designs.
well, I'll show you. So there's a female orc that has this big, huge mace,
Okay.
which that pose that looks like something from Lord of the Rings. Wasn't there a scene where an orc is like holding up the weapon and like charge?
I'm sure there was. I mean, between Helm's
Two
Deep and
tigers.
everything else, yeah.
Yeah. And then they got the big sword orc, which I guess the manual still talks about the big sword orc with the notched sword, but there's two of them, so it's not really a special character anymore.
Okay. Well, and from what we understand so far, it's meant to be the stats are the same. It just gives you a couple options.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then we've got a third one here. So we've actually got two different female orcs. We got the one with the mace, and then we got one with a machete. Like a
Falchion, maybe? That's, yeah.
yeah, I don't know what you would call it.
I mean,
It's very
it's-
Lord of the Rings-esque. It's like just a big
Yeah.
slab of sharp metal, but then they added a little flange on the end, I guess.
Mhm.
Actually doesn't look bad. I mean, we could pretty much assume that there were female orcs because you do have like Ulag and Grak. It's like the father of another orc,
Mhm.
presumably. And then there's the one that was stuck in there. Yeah. So then we got the third orc type has a axe.
Fourth one.
Well, let's see. One, two, three. Oh, you're right. Yeah, four. There's actually a fifth one in the mythic tier. You can see where the glue. See, the glue leaves like a shiny varnish there. So it almost looks like sweat or like blood.
Hmm.
So they could have used a different kind of glue. But even if you don't paint these, I don't think you're probably going to pay much attention to that.
Mhm.
The one thing I don't see is the flail. There's no flail orc. There's no cleaver orc. I mean, I guess you could say this is kind of like a cleaver. But, yeah.
Well, and again, weren't those goblins that had the.
Well,
Or was there an orc version?
in the original, the orcs would have a cleaver, like a falchion or scimitar type sword, and then the flail.
Okay.
But then you've got your goblins here. So you've got the same distribution. So you got 8 orcs, you got 6 goblins. So these goblins here, I don't know, these don't look too bad.
Mm-mm.
So you got the female goblin with the 2 daggers, you got the male goblin with cleaver. See, yeah, the original goblins, they would have like a hatchet, a sword and like a pointy dagger. So I guess that's kind of
Goblin's another one, of course, kind of getting in part thanks to. Is this a spike or he's wearing a hat? He's wearing a hat.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a pointy head.
Yeah, again, goblins are another one of those that, thanks to Pathfinder, have kind of gotten
You know,
a little bit of.
I've changed my mind on these because when they first were posting up the designs, 3D designs of these, I thought they looked like garbage. I was like, these don't belong in HeroQuest at all. These look like Dobby from Harry Potter because they had the heads were like really big, and bulbous, and they had a tiny body, and so they didn't have that sort of quasi-realistic look. To the
Well,
other
and
side.
that might have been one of those. The design change there might have been because
These
they were
look
getting
much
too
better.
close to the Pathfinder works and they wanted to
Yeah.
differentiate it a little.
Oh yeah, because but isn't Pathfinder?
Or Pathfinder Goblins. Pathfinder Goblins.
Yeah, but isn't Pathfinder Dungeons and Dragons? I thought Hasbro owned that. Or am
No.
I? Is it's separate?
Okay, so I mean, how much do you want me to derail?
Tell
this
me,
here?
Lore Master.
So, originally, the very first edition of Pathfinder was a take on the 3.5 rule set because when Dungeons and Dragons 3.0, 3.5, it was all under what they called the open game license, where so long as you basically acknowledge that Wizards of the Coast owned the core system, you could use the system to create whatever. The flip side was, and again, I'm broad stroking the legalese here, they could also take elements of what you made and then use it in the for themselves, which they didn't do too often. Paizo had already had the working relationship because they had been producing Dungeons and Dragon magazine at that point, because Wizards of the Coast just didn't want to have to deal with that at that point. And so they utilized that to make a game that was essentially just an enhanced 3.5 because at that point Wizards had announced they were doing 4th edition and then they went a whole different direction to what they've been doing. So Pathfinder really directly competed for quite a while simply because there were a lot of people that liked the 3.5 edition rules, didn't want to abandon it for 4th, with, I would say, good reason. And so it had some popularity. But one of the things that they did early on, as kind of a little bit of a branding to differentiate themselves, was, they kind of made goblins a little snarkier, had kind of their little mascot was even a little goblin, crap-wise. So,
Wise cracking goblins.
pretty much. And so when they did the Pathfinder 2nd edition, Goblin became a playable race. They had, I think, some rules there. I didn't play, I'll be honest, I didn't play Pathfinder as much, and once 5th edition came out, I did.
I've never played it. I have collected some of their miniatures though. I think Reaper has Pathfinder
Yeah.
stuff, and I didn't even look up the game behind him. It was just that looks like a cool character. I'm gonna appropriate that for recreating the expansions of HeroQuest I don't have.
Yeah.
Use that as the Frozen Horror. I use that as the Mercenary.
Short version, I guess, at its core, it is a version of Dungeons and Dragons, but it kind of has evolved into its own thing to a degree.
But it's not under the Hasbro.
No, they do
okay.
not.
Okay.
There could be some.
Because Hasbro owns TSR, which was the company that was Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, TSR has been reformed into a different thing. Wizards of the Coast. TSR, the original TSR, became Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, okay.
Wizards of the Coast then got brought by Hasbro as we approach, giant corporate monolith.
Well, and isn't Avalon Hill? Is Avalon Hill just
I
working?
think Avalon Hill had gotten. Avalon Hill, I believe, did get bought by Hasbro as well.
Wow.
But again, that had
Okay.
been a while ago. A lot of the smaller gaming companies.
But if they don't, yeah, I guess if they don't own the company, they would have to pay to enter into an agreement with them, which
Yeah.
otherwise would be, yeah.
Well, I suppose technically on paper they still have to do some kind of a contractual back and forth, but it's basically transferring. It's like transferring from one of your bank accounts to another bank account at the same bank.
Right.
So
Here's the gargoyle, which was the highlight of the original set, and you don't have to do anything. Kind of bendy, so the wings don't come off.
yeah, which was always kind of a pain. And the fact that they do kind of have it, it's a slightly more compact design, which I think is nice.
So
No, I guess they are still pretty close in size,
Oh,
but I don't
man.
know. It's
no whip. Of course, that thing would have been bent up, but I don't know.
yeah.
When I saw the 3D design, I thought he looks like just a generic demon, kind of boring. But I don't know. I guess just seeing it in the gray plastic, it doesn't look so bad. But
Mm-mm.
this guy looks awesome. Supposedly, this is based on the design of the Bloodthirster from Warhammer Fantasy.
Yes.
But they're like these giant, like basically it's the Balrog from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the one of the disciples of Korn. Again,
The
Warhammer is
Chaos
one of
Gods.
those that I haven't played in a very, very long time.
I have like one of the Introduction to the World books, and I just kind of skimmed it. Like, okay, I know some of the basics now, but
Yeah, it was one of the.
never a game that I played back in the day. I was like, I don't have the money for this kind of game. So,
I'm sure there'll be plenty of fanboys that would correct. I think
yeah,
he's the god,
actually,
chaos god of rage or violence, something like
Yeah.
that.
the Chaos God of slight annoyances.
Yeah.
When you go to shake the Tylenol out of the bottle, and like 5 of them come out in your hand, like that. He did that.
Yep.
You jerk. So, anyway, yeah, I think it looks all right.
Well, and again, they had to, if they weren't dealing with Games Workshop, they clearly had to introduce some design changes to
Yeah.
not get sued.
See, my dream would be, I mean, yeah, you can say, hey, you know what? HeroQuest is just a big derivative product. They just took all this beautiful Warhammer stuff and they dumbed it down for the masses, but it was dignified. It was cool.
Well, and I mean,
It inspired you to
yeah.
create stuff. And if they could make a deal with Games Workshop, they could sell like another expansion with stuff that was closer to the original.
No, and I mean,
updated, but
I, of course, it's been so long, I'm gonna forget my timeline, but I'm sure I played HeroQuest long before I ever rolled a D20 for
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, again, it kind of introduced me to some of the concepts and gave me an idea of what a fantasy elf
Yeah.
looked like and did,
Oh yeah.
and a fantasy dwarf, and
Mhm.
all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it gave me sort of an intro to some of these things.
Yep.
And let me see something because as Tolkien and Lord of the Rings didn't necessarily go deep into. It's like, oh no, it's a whole bunch of goblins coming. Didn't really get into the specifics, whereas this gave me an idea.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't get into Magic the Gathering. I didn't get into Dungeons and Dragons. This was kind of it for me. I mean, there was the Hobbit cartoon, and there was Warcraft. I mean, the RTS games, not World of Warcraft. So, but yeah, for a
Speaking
lot of
of
people,
World
it
of
was.
Warcraft, it's kind of a giant murloc or something.
Oh yeah, somebody in another stream said that it reminded them of Merman from He-Man, but I mean, it's a little more over the top. It's got like a piranha face.
It looks a lot like.
I'm pretty sure Jason Momoa like punched out one of these guys in Aquaman.
Yeah, he wasn't nearly as ripped though. A little scrawnier, but no, that reminds me a whole lot of again, or if you've played World of Warcraft, then the whole as those fish come
Fishman.
charging out of a pond at you.
They're called Murlocs.
Murlocs.
Oh, okay, so like Morlocks or Warlocks, but
Yeah,
Merman.
now I'm doubting myself. I'm gonna say Murlocs.
okay, all the World of Warcraft people are gonna come
Yeah,
after you.
yeah. Though again, I don't know any Murlocs that were that shredded.
Yeah. So this is a replacement for the Femur, or the Fimir, or the Femur, whatever you want to call them, from Games Workshop, and I think it's a pretty awesome looking monster. This is one of the designs where I looked at it and I said, "This looks great."
I mean, yeah.
Even though it looks nothing like the
Yeah,
club
it's
tail
definitely-
Cyclops lizard.
Yeah, it's definitely different, that's for sure. And again, I mean, in terms of trying to,
Yeah.
make something different, it's kind of.
Several people were saying though, well, why didn't they just do a troll? Why didn't they just do an ogre? Why didn't they just do a Cyclops?
It does seem like I'm not gonna say a missed opportunity, but it would have been a real easy thing to slot in. Again, though, this gives them something kind of unique, I guess,
Yeah.
because I mean, it is kind of at a glance, I'd say almost like troll cross with Watoa. No, not Watoa.
Oh, you know what?
Yes.
I'm just remembering something. So I did look at Dead Gamer's videos. He had a bunch of videos where he just went through like every single page. And he was concerned, okay, this is major spoilers, and he even said, like, if you play this game, you're going to be able to dominate because you have photographic memory, you've seen everything. Or if you're like him, you have a few years, you don't remember it at all. That's okay. But there is an underwater level in one of the quests. And so I bet you they were just thinking, hey,
yeah, if they knew
Merman.
they were gonna feature that anyway. Yeah, might as well get something there. And
unless it was like, I mean, in Hero Quest, they took designs from all over and just kind of crammed them together. But they could have had some of these already done and just said, you know what, let's just throw that in there.
oh, plus, I mean, let's face it, your stereotypical dungeon type thing. I mean, they're known for being dank, standing water.
Yeah, very.
Basically, health inspector's nightmare. But
okay, so I was going to say these are Chaos Warriors, but because they can't say Chaos anymore, they call them Dread Warriors.
Dread Warriors, okay.
Judge Dredd.
Yeah, that's a whole other IP. Let's not.
Yeah, and instead of so normally there would be the Chaos symbol there, but it's a monster mouth. Now the original Chaos Warriors in Hero Quest did not have shields; they just had an axe. They didn't have this mace. But the Games Workshop Chaos Warriors, I mean, they had the Chaos Warbands. They had all these different guys with different types of helmets and armor.
Depending
shields,
on again
weapons.
which chaos god they followed, if I
right.
recall a little bit of it, yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that. The ones that were in Hero Quest, though, their horns came up to the top and they met in like a ball. And that was how the Chaos Warlock looked. That's how the Chaos Warriors looked. But these are Dread Warriors. This one's mace is a little bent, so we could try the boil and water trick. I could try it. Oh, I fixed it. Okay, anyway, they look pretty good. I think they look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Although having the actual Chaos Warriors would be even better. So instead of the Chaos Warlock, the guy with his, he's doing the goal pose with his two arms up in the air. This one's got a staff. I don't see any skull detailing other than the face. It's a pretty cool looking sorcerer, though. So this is a Dread Sorcerer instead of a Chaos Warlock. So this would stand in for like Sir Ragnar or the Witch Lord or whoever you wanted. Alright, so that's all the miniatures. Now let's look at the dice. Now the dice were a disappointment for me. And you say, gee, the dice are such a minor part of it. Well, you're rolling them all the time. So you're going to be looking at these dice. Now granted, they're plastic. Ooh, there's some like schmutz on there or something in the factory. Gross. Yeah, so they're plastic. Oh, it's like oily. Okay. It's like someone did Hakaligi in there in the factory. I hate this job. Yeah, those pips should be gold. And I guess you could paint them gold. Yeah, just like the most generic dice you could imagine.
Yeah. No, and again, it's a standard board game set of 2d6.
Yeah.
And of course, then you get the more.
Now the wooden dice, there was a problem with the wooden dice, I'll admit, is they would get yellowed because it was just painted wood, and the black would come off.
Well, the other thing too with wooden dice versus plastic is, I mean, if you've got somebody who's really serious about true rolls,
it's going to warp.
It's not even so much the warping, but I mean, you can naturally have spots in wood where you might have a small
knot or something.
Yeah, something that small wouldn't affect it too much, but it could.
Quality control right there. Look at that. So that's, some people pointed out it's not 100% perfect. Yeah. But we still got this. Oh, look at that! The skulls. They did include another set of dice in the mythic tier. So I guess if you wanted to have perfect dice, you could do that. So instead of the full body lion, you just got the lion face, and it looks like his mouth is not fully inked on there. They should have inscribed it a little deeper, I think.
Yeah.
But the dice are the same: 2 hero shields, 1 monster shield, 2 skulls. We can look at the rest of those some other time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's your basic. So I'll take that out of there. Now, one of the guys on Ye Olde Inn, and of course this video is not sponsored or endorsed by anybody except for me, and the guy I'm with here, is that this guy, Kale Darkhollow, he did like a full comparison. Like he had the UK miniatures and board and cards next to the US miniature board and cards next to the remake, everything. So he compared like everything.
that is.
So I don't need to reduplicate what he already did, but let's see what's in here. The same exact slip cover. Oh, so they gave us some delicious chocolate. That was kind of them. So all plastic furniture. That was a big selling point.
Yeah.
It's not like anything. Wow, it's really solid. I don't know what Descent is, but supposedly that's Descent plastic. What do you think?
Yeah, that's wow, and that is. I think that might just
Nope.
be an actual
Chuck that at your little brother's head.
block of plastic
Yeah.
versus just some.
I mean, I saw a 3D printed covered once, and I thought, wow, it's just a big hunk of plastic. This is hard. It's like not quite a paperweight, but it's definitely hard.
Yeah, and I mean, it's obviously the old one was just the cardboard sort of set into the
Yeah, the cardboard, and then it had a plastic thing on the top. But
base, but yeah, all of it
paint
is.
these. Paint them. Yeah, go ahead, dig in there and see what you can.
The doors, definitely lots of.
So there you got the familiar little skull and the books.
Mhm.
Well, this could be fun to paint because then you can, zoom in really close and just, paint the titles on there if you want.
So at a glance, I think like most of these,
It's like the same size.
I was gonna say if they're not the same size, they are really, really close.
Yeah.
Plus,
Okay,
the same size to each other. I was gonna say compared to the old one.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Someone has actually they actually measured them, and some of this furniture is actually smaller. Believe it or not, than the originals. And because the new board has 1-inch squares, so bigger squares, you think furniture will be bigger, but most of the furniture is the same size or smaller.
Yeah.
Maybe to save money, but
Well, it could be, but also, I mean, if you're
scale.
actually trying to keep it to scale, which I don't know, some of it might be, some of it might not be, or again, that way, if you have it just exactly as big as the square, then that means any small nudge is suddenly going to intrude into another square.
That's true.
This way, you get a little bit as long as it takes up enough space that no one else is going to be able to just move onto the
You
square.
don't want to cram everything.
Yeah,
You can-
gives you a little bit of space to work with.
One thing, the cardboard ones, they were actually different bookcases. Like the books are arranged differently. I think one had the skull and one didn't. But I guess you could just paint it differently.
Mhm.
Whatever. So we got those. It's like if you had a little kid helping you, it's like the kid would have I can't get it, Daddy. Here, son, let me do that. Son of a. There's the fireplace. Now it's missing the picture of King Angry or whoever that was. Did we ever give him a name, or it's just a guy? It was like a picture of a king, but he had like dark circles under his eyes, and you
No, but you know what? Now you can
put whatever you
summon your inner artist. Yeah, you can make that whatever you want.
want. Yeah, well, it's pretty decent. But it looks like they really tried to kind of recreate.
Yeah, it's it really is.
This is way smaller than I thought. I think there was a preview video where a guy he had a dice box that was the tune, but you can take it off.
Opens up.
All right, let's see if you can throw a crusher inside.
I mean, I think they're all too posed to really fit in there.
Oh
but,
man!
If you know what,
So I wonder if there's any monster gonna jump out when you search for treasure. Well, I guess you'll just have to try it and see.
I mean, if they weren't splayed all over the place, they might fit a little better. But
You have to cut the base off it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's disappointing. I was thinking, oh man, that'd be so cool to just have it like
again,
that.
the fact that it comes off though, and there could be an adventure where there's something in there, I guess. But
You could throw you could throw a skull in there. So You
Yeah.
could throw a treasure chest inside. I bet. These delicious chocolate treasure chests. It's pretty good size.
it is.
It's got a little monster lock on there. Let's see.
Yep, there you
Hey.
go.
Treasure. Cute. Or you could just glue it down if you just didn't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
So you got your 3 treasure chests as normal. Just taking our sweet time here. Oh, that was on a sprue there.
It's alright though, I'm assuming they're sticking.
Meant to be popped off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a tiny, tiny little skull. Now, in the original, they gave you a bunch of skulls, and you only needed a couple of them to stick onto furniture. But yeah, you could just you just twist it right off.
Yeah.
It looks like you got like a rat skull or something. Oh, so you could put that on the bookcase.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no peg holes for stuff. So normally, you'd have a little hole, and you just kind of like stick it on there. But
You could have it for the workshop table or something, maybe.
Glue
But
it on
yeah,
there.
it's
yeah, get some sticky tack, slam it on there. So there's the doorway. Still too small for anybody to actually fit through it, but
Oh, yeah.
just imagination. It's like, Zargon, open the door. Morcar, open the door. There's the closed door. So they went with gray instead of brown.
well, it's
Spaces
yeah.
were gray, I guess, originally.
Plus the idea it's set into stone walls, I guess. And
Yeah.
again, if you feel like
Same number of doors.
using your
Originally.
skills of an artist, then yeah, you can take care of that.
Artiste. Yep. And we got the torture rack. It's got a hollow. You can almost put something underneath there.
Sure.
Different style of torture rack. It's a torque on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Get it out. Put a little skull on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it needs to be painted. Because with that cardboard, it was full color.
True.
So, let's see. You could. Oh no, the elf's being tortured. We always did stuff like that
Oh yeah.
in the game. Okay, so we've got Sorcerer's Table here. It's solid. Oh yeah, people made a big deal about how the original candles are always broken, or they would break pretty easily, and so they made one slightly shorter than the other.
Oh, okay.
First, there's gonna be some people that they're just gonna get a scissors and they're just gonna clip. There's those little flames,
Mm-hmm.
little flame tips, and the writing is on the opposite side now.
Oh.
If you paint that, so somebody with some major skills could fill the rest of that in.
Seems like a waste of I don't know, medieval, dark age, fantasy, whatever time frame paper.
Yeah.
Stuff's
Yeah.
expensive.
Yep. They never got finished because the powers of Dread were so amazing that they just went mad halfway through. I guess.
I suppose that's the case.
There's the throne. Not bad. Yeah, the furniture definitely feels harder to me than the figures, but maybe that's just because it's more. square.
It's all more squared off, so it's naturally
Thicker.
going to be more rigid, I think.
We got our 2 tables. Oh, they got little claw feet.
Ah.
Changed because they were pretty generic.
Mm-hmm.
They were just like little picnic benches. Now, do you think you should be able to shoot arrows over the top of that?
I mean, yeah.
Or I guess the other guy could like tip it up and block.
Then yeah, I mean that's a staple.
All right, so this one should be a little bit more bendy. This is the weapons rack, and this looks very much like the old one. Oh, it's warped. Yeah, you can definitely. That thing would break off if
Mhm.
mine was glued on, but they've clearly changed the shield to the monster shield there instead of the.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they said that the images on there look straight out of Warhammer. I mean, it was generic heraldry. You got the fleur-de-lis, you got the lion.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the weapons are all the same. So they look pretty much to scale.
Mm-hmm.
No surprises there. I actually have a 3D print that looks like this alchemist bench. Like almost exactly. But of course, they were inspired by the original.
Oh, sure.
Throw the little skull on there. Get it out of there. Ta-da! It's done.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be easy to lose.
Yeah.
I have kids in the house, but I always like the Alpine bench. Okay, so we got the character sheets.
It's a nice thick pad, at least.
Yeah. What do you think? I think that's like 100 sheets, maybe 200?
Yeah, maybe.
1, 2. Okay, the stream's not going to be that long. But yeah, it's got all the same stuff, so it looks like no gameplay changes there. We've still got our attack, defend dice, our body, even 14 quests, potion of gold. Nothing on the back. Ooh, it's really thick. So maybe it is only 100 sheets.
Yeah, 100, but it's designed to stand up through a whole campaign.
Yeah. Well, and they give you so many quests that you're going to need those, but we always photocopy them anyway.
Mhm.
Here's the cards. So I'll slip the paper off here, as many others have done before me. Maybe. Oh, there's a couple decks here.
Yeah, I could tell there were a couple of breaks in there for.
Okay, so it's got a linen finish. These look bigger. These look more like poker-sized cards.
Yeah, the other ones were pretty small.
Yeah, they're U.S. game card size, but they were like 1 millimeter taller. Here, I'll let you
Sure.
take a look and see. So from what I've seen from other people, oh, these are really thin. I guess they're standard.
The
They're not
artwork
like,
is definitely different on them, which again is
they're not like bicycle cards, but you can put them in sleeves if you wanted to.
true.
Poker size. Yeah, the treasure cards are still the same number of treasure cards, same number of distributions of everything.
Yeah, they are good. If these aren't Magic the Gathering size, and they make plenty of sleeves for those,
Yeah.
I would be surprised. They're definitely pretty close.
Now they did make the pits into spike pits for the hazards,
Sure.
so I guess that's all right.
And I do see they got some different things, some actual magic weapons. It looks like that. You know, we'll do a short sword, but then you get to Orc's Bane. You get to attack twice against an orc.
Oh, classic.
You're not used by the wizard because.
You can't use anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The okay, now we're getting into spells. Okay, so 24 treasure cards, standard elemental spells. I like the artwork. I miss the the cartoony kind of elementals they had on the back, but they still look pretty awesome. Of course, they show them like destroying cities and things. It's like, well, they're not that big. It's just,
Now we do have.
this is a slight gameplay change.
We do have the monster cards as well as instead of the big giant.
Courage clearly says line of sight. So what's that? Oh yeah.
Also got the hero cards versus where it used to be the giant
Yeah.
planks of cardboard.
I miss those big, huge tiles. You know, it's just like you flip it over and it tells you, and it tells you this.
Oh, okay.
And they've got a separate card. See, normally this would have been on the back. So you flip it over and go, okay, what can I do again? Oh, yeah. And then when you die, you just, okay, he's dead. But yeah, that's a whole separate card. It's interesting. And then, yeah, same stats. Nobody starts with armor. The elf should start with armor. But no. They kept it the same as the old game. So, that's cool. And they've got multiples of these. So I guess everybody can just be like, okay, what do I do?
Everyone gets their own so they can.
Now, this could get mixed in with all the other cards on the table pretty easily, so that's another downside of not having the big tiles. Monsters, yep. The Dread Warrior. Now, I would say the Chaos Warriors were Dread Warriors, but that wasn't their official name. Look at the little icon for the map when you're looking at the quest. Same stats. The generic demon. But he's got a cool glowy tattoo now. Actually, is that the gargoyle?
Well, I mean, the gargoyle card is just a couple down, I think. So
Okay, so abomination.
I'm not sure if it is. It's not. It's similar.
Might be a type of because the horns kind of go out.
I mean, it kind of looks like a gargoyle, but I don't know that it is the gargoyle. But again, that could be
Super
just a
Saiyan.
difference of
Super Saiyan gargoyle.
yeah.
It's the goblin. See, that's more what I was thinking of. It's like, look how big his head is.
Yeah.
It's like a giant baby.
And again, that is kind of
Yeah. These are more the exaggerated versions that we saw on the website originally. That orc, I mean, he's just, like, he's got a tiny head and just, I'm like, okay, that screams World of Warcraft. And then zombie. It's like, get your shield up, buddy, you're going to get your head lopped off.
mm-hmm.
Although, according to the HeroQuest novel, it's the heart that controls the zombie, not the brain.
Really.
Yeah. So, anyway. All right. So the crossbow. There's been no adjustments to the crossbow. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of some of them definitely. Just again, as I was flipping through them there, until you get to the magic, or the magic ones are a little bit further down. There's a couple different things.
That's from the European version, but they increased how much it costs. So you can
Okay.
tomahawk.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So instead of having the big armory board, you have these equipment cards like the European version. So helmet. Oh, you got dupes.
Yeah, a couple helmets. And
Now this does not limit the supply, though. I did read that. So
Okay.
if you want to have the card, you can, but it's not like, oh, you bought the third helmet. Sorry, which is Wizard can't use it anyway.
yeah.
Holy water, 400 gold. Okay, that's an awfully big donation to the chapel for one holy water. I mean, yes, you can kill a skeleton with it. But I don't know. See, originally this was a treasure card
Mm-hmm.
in the European version.
Well, and I think the idea is that it's. I mean, can it double as both, or these are specifically ones you buy?
Well, because if you
This
throw
is
that in
equipment,
the
doesn't
if you
it?
throw that in the treasure deck, they're gonna see. Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
something good.
So the bottom ones are probably where it gets magicals, probably, because I didn't see.
Long
As you go
sword.
through, yes. Again, a lot of
like
those are
the
going to
ones
be
that-
pretty similar. You'll have some minor.
People hate the plate mail because it slows you down.
Does it? Okay.
But if you buy one of these, you can speed yourself up again
There you
for one
go.
turn. This was another European one that was treasure, and now they made it purchasable. Of course, you could stockpile these. You could buy a whole bunch of them.
Sure.
Shield, short sword. No changes there. Staff, toolkit, some traps. Born's armor. Now it's explicitly says you can put a helmet and a shield on with it. Because some people, we never had a problem, but some people were like, well, there's a shield or a helmet already there, so can you not wear a helmet with it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just plate mail that doesn't do anything. Okay, yeah, that's definitely new.
We'll flip to the back, though, because that's.
Artifact. Yeah, it's an artifact. So the Route of Telekinesis, it's like a Tempest spell, except they get a chance to block it, but you could just keep using it turn after turn. Yeah. So these new artifacts do feature in new quests. Well, there's the famous Elixir of Life. Always a good one to bring your heroes back from the dead.
Mhm.
This is a new one, Fortune's Longsword.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play as many of the quest packs or anything, so I don't know, or the European version, so
Yeah,
some of these might be new. But again, it seems like
that's
it
brand.
even says Orc's Bane. It's a short sword, but you get to attack twice against orcs. So, and the wizard doesn't get to use it.
Yeah.
So again, it's something where it's basically a core item that just gets a little something, gets a little bonus.
I like the Orc's Bane because you definitely fight a lot of orcs.
True.
And the original artwork, it shows like an orc just getting stabbed like through the chest with a sword, which maybe they thought was too gruesome for 14-year-olds. But yeah, I kind of missed that. But anyway, cool artwork though.
Mm-hmm. Phantom
Blade. Okay, that's a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you get an unblockable hit once per quest.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just a regular dagger. It's pretty weak. Ring of Return. That was a classic one. Everybody goes back to the start of the quest. Because there's that maze one where everybody gets stuck, and then it's like, oh, one guy makes it back, everybody comes back. Ring of Fortitude, that's a new one. It's like the Talisman of Lore, but for body points. So one body point. Skull Ring, that was a classic one. Oh, and it says, it doesn't say elf or wizard, so anybody with magic could use it.
Okay.
Spirit Blade, of course, for killing undead, the bonus. So yeah, you get those monster-specific weapons.
Mhm.
Talisman of Lore. How you doing on time? Wand of Magic. Yeah, I'll keep going. Wizard's Cloak, Wizard's Staff. So there you go.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, in the essence of time, we won't go through every single thing, but spells, tempest, courage.
You still have the 4 basic.
Yeah. Rock, skin.
Does it say schools of magic or types of? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
That works a little different, it looks like, but again, still kind of.
Put these black borders in. Or I guess they're brown borders. Okay. Supposedly there's 151 cards.
I can believe it. I mean, if you're including the monsters and the heroes and the rule stuff, yeah, definitely. I think you're there.
Yeah. Put all that away later. Oh yeah, the rats. Now the tails would always break off the rats, so having it like a hard rubber is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
I think they incorporated the rats in there. A little spoiler. If you see a rat, it's like, oh, you can give the cheese to the rat, and then the rat like follows you around and can do little errands for you. It's kind of a cute little thing.
Yeah.
I have a leaning tower of Hero Quest. Okay, we're almost to the bottom here. This looks like the board.
Mm-hmm.
So, quad fold, of course. Good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice little back into it. Except that the Hero Quest logo is on the edge instead of at the bottom. So I'll switch to the other
I
camera.
know we played this earlier this year, and looking at the board, it does. I mean, maybe they could have changed some of the tile colors, and I know the scale's a little different.
Food is gone. There was like a little food here.
Was there? Again, I mean,
I see
it's
the
minor
rocks,
differences.
Bones,
Yeah, I think the
blood splatter.
room shapes and sizes seem to be pretty much the same from what I can recall. But yeah, again, some of the artwork, like everything else, some of the artwork seems to be a little different.
It's like they just kind of like recreated it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had them side by side and said, "Look, just paint something that looks pretty much exactly like this."
Yeah.
So if we throw just somebody on there, okay, yeah, it fits pretty well. There's a ogre from the one of the original expansions. Oops. So yeah, doesn't really take up a whole lot of room, but then you can. I like the old square bases, but yeah, you can rotate them around if you want to.
Yeah, that's
Doesn't
kind of
matter
neat.
what direction you're facing.
Plus, again, I feel like in a
Mhm.
lot of modern miniatures, the round bases. I
Standard.
mean, unless you're doing something hex or a hex grid in a game,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I see
Bob
more
Masters.
round bases than square. I mean, there's still plenty of square bases out there, and then, like I said, you have the games that use hex.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It looks like you could use a hobby knife and actually cut that off of there and put it on a square base if you really wanted to.
yeah,
Some people I've seen they cut grooves in it to make it look like tile. But anyway,
yeah,
it is kind of reflective. So if you're playing over Zoom, you're going to have a little bit more reflections from lights. But it's a nice looking board, I think. Easy to store.
yeah.
You can fold it up. Let's see. Edge, it isn't really raggedy. I actually had a custom printed board that I did in quad fold with 1 inch squares just to kind of see what it would look like, and it's compatible with the old miniatures because it's bigger and smaller. All right, moving right along. Okay, that's just the empty part. Okay. So, amusingly, in Cosmic Tavern's video, he gets to the bottom and he's like, "Oh, what is this? What's this cool thing?" And then it's just
Yeah, they're basically just taking an extra inch of space just cause. I guess, again, to make it look thicker and more
the
impressive.
styrofoam. Okay, this should have been the armory. Like, you've got
Yeah.
plenty. All you'd have to do is just reproduce the card images.
Yeah, just white blank cardboard versus the other.
Oh well, missed opportunity.
Yeah.
So here you got, obviously, we called the Zargon screen. They say that that's supposed to be Mentor, but that's not Zargon. But I don't know what they were thinking when they designed it. I mean, it looks like he's like, okay, monsters, go kill them all.
Yeah.
Instead, he's supposed to be saying, oh, look out, here comes the...
It's a pretty sinister look.
Yeah. I mean, you study a little chaos magic in your spare time there, Mentor.
I mean,
Zargon copied his books and then ran off.
I don't know. You know, if you drinks in you, who knows what book's coming off the shelf.
Yeah, it's like the dark side's always there. So the game's GM screen, same exact stuff as back in the day.
Yeah,
Explained.
again, if most of the mechanics really change, there's not a...
It's like they just did a straight up copy. Okay, here's the tiles. Shiny linen finish tiles.
Yeah, and
The
again,
skulls.
just kind of before, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix
There's a
it.
block. And I like that. I support that. I
Yeah.
mean, you could say, oh, it wasn't very original, but start with the basics.
Well, and again, I mean, the pit is a pit.
Well, that's different.
Oh, yeah.
Alternate staircase. So if you get tired of that one, you can flip it over.
Mm-hmm.
And these sewer grates were not in the original. It was just black on the back.
Yeah.
Just dress that up if you want.
Sure.
Doors. People have wondered about the mystery square. So that's supposed to be Zargon's symbol.
Mm.
Jack Skellington pumpkin or something. And then that's the Eye of Mentor.
Okay.
But it's not explained. It's just a tile. So if you punch that out, I guess it could be like, okay, let's do a fate roll.
Yeah.
50% chance you'll get a good or a bad, maybe.
Sure.
Quest books. So why don't you take a look at
Sure.
that there. There's the rule book. So yeah, this is definitely like a magazine print or maybe like a modern comic book style cover. Glossy, shiny. It's the story. So it's the Sea of Talons instead of the Sea of Claws. It's the World's End Mountains instead of the World's Edge Mountains. Blackfire Pass is the Darkfire Pass. Zargon is referred to in gender-neutral terms. I guess you never see him. To me, the evil Santa character will always be Zargon. Let's see.
So we'll say at a glance, the quests do seem... Even, again, the maps are going to be the maps. But they do seem pretty similar.
Yeah.
I don't think if there's been...
The layouts are identical. I checked. Now the
Are
only
they?
thing is
Okay.
the text.
Some of the text is a little different?
Well, the text might be the same. I'm just not 100%
That's
sure.
all right. Mm.
I guess some people pointed out this little diagram here. There should be a dotted line from the elf to that orc showing that you can't hit them. But I guess they figured, well, why even bother? Because you can't hit them.
Mm.
But yeah, the rule mechanics are basically all the same.
Yeah, and again, I think that largely goes down to if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And well, similarly, if you go to change the mechanics, then that can throw off all sorts of other things.
Oh
So
yeah,
next
all
thing
the
you know,
custom quests people have made.
yeah, you're having to go and rebalance everything.
I'm not sure this was a great idea because I'm not sure that. You can
Yeah,
write
it's not
on
going to be
your
very
pencil.
writable. Certainly, yeah, definitely not pencil and some inks will work. Yeah, but the quest book again, it's instead of paper, it is that kind of like a glossy magazine type print.
Okay, so orcs are related to goblins, but are larger and much more powerful. They form the rank and file of Zargon's armies. Those who are allied with the evil sorcerer are fierce and deadly warriors who should never be underestimated. So nothing about them enslaving goblins, nothing about them being
Just
delighting
some
in
kind of relation.
slaughter.
Yeah, well, and that's something that some of the newer stuff in D&D is kind of trying to do away with orcs. Orcs are evil just for evil. Drow are evil just cause. Elves are generally good. I mean, they're trying to make it more.
Yeah.
Which again, I mean, if you're trying to draw real world equivalences,
Yeah, okay.
sure that makes sense. But I mean, it is
Fantasy.
fantasy. Some things are
Yeah, the orcs were bred for slaughter.
well, and that's yeah.
Or
that's
maybe
the
they
whole thing.
wonder once a noble race who was corrupted by chaos magic, and who knows what threats or promises drove them far from home.
Yep.
Wonder what their name was. All right,
So it's definitely again. There's in general, there's some upgrades, but again, as far as board
Very
games
similar.
come, I think that's inevitable. You have to have it. If you tried to release the Hero Quest of yore nowadays,
Only
there would be wailing and gnashing of teeth that, what's with pieces of cardboard? What is this?
you would definitely have your hardcore collectors, but how many people would just keep it in the box and never actually play it?
Yeah.
Just be like, oh, I remember this from my childhood, and they buy it. And
Yeah, but
this
so
is meant to be played.
yeah, I think it is. Yeah, definitely.
And I don't feel like Hasbro played us. A lot of people were concerned. They said, oh, this is just going to be a mindless cash grab. But I think the fact that they didn't change very much works in its favor.
Yeah, I think the stuff that they did,
They
added a few things. They added a few things here and there, but they didn't try to reinvent the wheel. They didn't try to go through where they made some lore changes. They made a few story things here and there. There's plastic on as well.
Yeah. All right, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on these because, as you know, it's just dupes of the same miniatures once again.
Yeah, I kind of at a glance looked like it was, and I mean, the Return of the Witch King was one. I think that was one of the original quest packs, if I recall.
Oh
right?
yeah.
So these were
released in Europe. My brother had these. Everybody got these, but these are still the North American rules. So there's extra artifacts that, like the Brits didn't get. That looks very similar. They said the box is just like a half an inch taller than the classic one. But
Yeah, and again, it's like the other one. It's a lot thicker because people are expecting it.
have a look. You like the same.
And the artwork's definitely different than, but that's been throughout the artwork.
There's the mystery tile that nobody knows what that statue is for.
Yeah, and here they do have. I can include a little note from Mentor at the back of this, and boy, yeah, he looks pretty sinister there.
Yep. Well, maybe there's a standard top wizard uniform.
Could be.
So they got pictures of the artifacts, but instead of having to cut them out like before, they're actual cards.
Okay, and again, that's a good thing because in that way you can integrate it into the main game a lot easier.
Very similar. So you got your standard miniatures. Now here's what instead of those cardboard doors, the in and out doors, they've just got plastics. And both of them have the same ones. So same distributions of green skins as you had before, and then you got the cards, only a few of them this time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like gummy. I know you gotta go here soon, my friend. So just a quick run through the fire ring. Spells. It's kind of hard to read that. You gotta kind of look closely. Like, which one is it? Buckskin? Okay. Battle. Oh, okay. So the Alchemist shop are now equipment cards.
Okay.
So you're still buying them in between quests, but I mean, if you don't mind, you could slip them into the treasure deck too.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Pretty simple there. And I can just pack up here while you're getting ready. So you got other things to do, but I'm glad you can make it.
Yeah, you bet.
Let's check this out. Return the Witch Lord Classic. Okay, I can take over.
Sure.
Yeah. So what's your final analysis?
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of, like I said, I already said it. They really did. They made some changes, but again, not to the game. It's just to the, the aesthetic changed a little bit. Obviously, upgrades in art, upgrades in design. Plastics different. All stuff. It still seems, at least at a cursory glance, to still be very true to the game that we played, which is good. And if they didn't really make any changes to the mechanics from, a very, very quick jump to the rulebook, I know you'll deep dive into that later.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it really does seem like something that's just sort of an upgraded version to play with, something that people can
Great.
certainly enjoy. Hopefully, bring some new people into the game that we had before, without necessarily betraying it or just trying to, I would say, not cheap cash grab.
That's
Because it clearly did put a little bit of thought and effort into making some design, and that's a good thing.
and seeing what the new fans create, well, I think would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, again, I mean,
That's
the
stitched.
obviously the core game by itself is going to be the game, but at the same time, there's always been sort of a spirit of customization and trying to make your own world. Like, well, I mean, similar to fantasy settings, similar to role playing, and people that will try to use it as a springboard at that. Like I said, I certainly played HeroQuest long before I ever played Dungeons and Dragons or any other RPGs. So it got me familiar with some of the concepts, some of the creatures, seeing them interacting with. So it was always very useful in terms of that, and there's some nostalgia there too.
Bring in some more people, both to HeroQuest and to the wider
Exactly.
fantasy gaming
Yep.
kind of world.
And we certainly are in kind of a boom of nerddom, as it were, nowadays.
Yeah.
Which again, not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
I know you get
This is your
some
kids,
old
grandkids.
purists and stuff that decry, but I don't know. I don't.
Grognards. Is what they call them.
I don't see bringing more people in as necessarily a bad thing. It might take some different directions because different people are going to have different takes on stuff, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. You take what you like, leave what you don't, and
Absolutely. Well, and it's around your gaming table. So maybe your group of friends really likes one particular aspect, and you're going to play that up. Whereas some other group is going to be like, screw that mess. We're going to do what
exactly.
we want. And HeroQuest definitely encourages that.
It does, and again, I mean, I know it's like you said, even the edition is a dumbed down from what the creator necessarily might have originally intended, but it still became something special unto its own, and something that has obviously withstood time.
Yeah, and they got him involved, but I mean, he wasn't in charge of everything. It was just like he gets to write a few quests.
Sure.
I can go ahead and wrap up if you need to get going.
Yeah, we need to, obviously, everyone enjoy all the stuff here and kill plenty of monsters. There's just plenty of them to do.
Yeah.
This is the mythic stuff. I think you got one more you missed. Missed the tab.
Thank you. See, humans are going to make some mistakes now and then, but...
like trying to oppose the heroes in the first place.
Oh,
Yeah.
zing.
So this is just all the mythic bonus stuff for
Oh,
Kickstarter?
okay, I was wrong. This does have linen finish. I thought maybe they used cheaper materials for Joe Manganiello's stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and then you got new character cards, 4 character cards.
It's the same stuff on both sides. It's kind of weird. Well, whatever.
Some quest books. Yeah, all right. So this is...
Yep, Spirit Queen's Tournament.
there's Joe Manganiello.
Well, yeah, this one's his.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
There's Stephen Baker's right underneath it.
Yep. So these other two I wasn't really sure about. I thought, well, I don't know. They're going to have this piratey orc guy that's... So there's your good orcs, or neutral orcs. But it didn't look too bad. This is the one where he's like, I'm a fanboy and I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to throw in so many monsters. It's like that's what you did when you were a kid. You're Zargon. Oh, the heroes just triumphantly like rampage through all your evil plans. So you make a quest that's just designed to just punish them.
Hey, you know what? As a young dungeon master, game master, whatever. Yeah, I absolutely set up stuff to kill players once or twice. As I'm older now, obviously, I understand it's meant to be more collaborative, and I
but you can
thrive on that. But
put the fear of God into him.
oh yeah,
but yeah, this is why I pledged, because I knew he was coming back. And it's like, does he still have it?
well, I don't know. The very first page there was actually talking about background for. Oh, that's just background for Zargon. I thought for a second that was the background.
He wrote a ton of stuff in here.
Wow, yeah, there's that's
Look at all this. Is this what do they call it? Flavor text? Or they call it
some of it, yeah.
There's just like tons of stuff in here. way more than the other two. So he definitely was like, I'm going to cram as much lore in here as I can.
I mean, hey, it's his chance to do it. Might as well make sure he gets his stamp on there.
But it definitely stays true to what's there. Some people have commented, well, why would you have dragons? We never had dragons before.
That's a classic staple. Though.
Good orcs. Yeah, but yeah, people always wondered, well, what would it look like to have a dragon at the end of a major quest? But yeah, this alone I think is worth it. And real quick, so there's your extra dice, alternate skeleton. So this is just all the people that pledged for the mythic stuff. So this may not be available in retail ever. So people are going to scalp it on eBay, unfortunately. But yeah, a mentor wizard. It's like you get to fight Zargon at the end. I wonder his stats are. It's just a regular wizard. So that's a female red warrior. It's got a hint of a boot plate there. Witch Lord. Now there's your good guy orc. This was the most controversial piece of the whole thing. Because look at that singing dandy. Is he really canon? But I actually think a pirate orc would be a cool character. I'm not sure about a singing orc. Zombie. Alternate gargoyle. Can't really tell if it's supposed to be male or female. Maybe not. Piece de resistance. This is Joe's dragon. That's it. Falls over. Yeah, it falls over. That's okay.
Still just using that same orange base, so yeah.
Yeah. So you got the warlock, hero. Or no, this is the druid. This is the warlock. It's a little like halfling sorcerer. Alternate mummy. Alternate abomination. I think this is the female. Those are like the exact. No, I don't know. I'm just making that up. Wolverine, goblin. Hammer orcs. I don't know. So they did put a little bit of Warhammer in this game. After all, we'll just pretend we didn't see that. Okay, another box. This is the Hasbro Pulse bonus. So I guess everybody that orders from the website gets this. And this should be the last thing, and we can let you skedaddle. We got other quests to do. So more heroes. These are just alternates. So you got not just the barbarian and elf, but that's the male orc. I know it's there. You can really tell. You got a visitor.
So.
All right, folks. I'm just going to continue on. Got a little doggy there, and I think at this point we will pause the stream and pick up a little bit later with some more in-depth material. But there's Sir Ragnar. Switch things up. Female dwarf. All right. Well, thanks very much. Join us again on HeroQuest Fans. Later today, I will be uploading some stuff and be doing another deep dive. And we'll go over some of the rules just so you can see like how it's changed over the years. So thanks for joining us. Sorry about the doggy. Take care, everybody.